going to cover a couple of, let me put my phone on. It's the potential spam. It's my favorite friend.
Oh, yes.
Good grief. They love me.
I thought I was the only one.
No, it's my
No?
BFF.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they were my friend.
Hey, are we fighting
Look
for the
at that.
same friend?
I guess so.
So, today, again, the three volunteers that we have, that's okay, come on in. And then what we're going to be covering today is a refrigerator pickle. We're going to be doing a quick pickled red onion. And then we're going to talk about food storage, specifically with dehydration. And then I brought the vacuum sealer out so we can show a little bit about some vacuum sealing options for some another food technique to save your items. So before we start today, I want to start with food safety first, because first and foremost, our program is about food safety. Again, we're the UC, which is University of California CE Cooperative Extension, because we gotta say it all, UC CE Cooperative Extension Master Food Preserver Program. And it is a program that is statewide. We do cover all counties now because we have a virtual option. But in our county, we have a San Bernardino and a Riverside County. We expanded into Riverside about 3 years ago. San Bernardino is one of the longest running programs that we have, so our volunteers have kept this going for us all this time. So that's really great. So with food safety, what we want to be cautious of is the danger zone, which is 41 degrees to 140. That's when we need to be really cautious about our food and making sure that we don't have any unwanted bacteria growth going in there. That's where it's most common to be. And then another thing is that we want to make sure that we're washing our hands before we make an item, during making an item, but we also want to dress ourselves. So we want to have an apron on, not just to protect our clothes, but in case we were out in the garden or outside, anything that was on our clothes could get into our food, which could create some spoilage there. I am covering our hair, making sure it's pulled back. I'm terrible about that. I try to be better. I'm telling you about this, but I'm trying it, and I'm practicing myself. I'm re-educating myself. And then the golden rule is when in doubt, throw it out. And I am the worst proponent. I always tell my husband, oh, smell this. I still do it, and I was like, you know what, don't even bother. If I have to question it, it's just best to throw it out. Because sometimes some things you're not necessarily going to be able to smell or taste, and it can make somebody sick. And it may not make somebody that's not immunocompromised sick, so a normal, healthy person might be able to fight that off. But the elderly, like my parents are in their 80s, and something that will definitely deteriorate the elderly. Hey, my mom and dad can run circles around me. Okay, they embarrass me. Okay, because they are super active. But when they catch a little cold, it might take them a little bit longer to recover from it than it would the 3-year-old little pump snatcher that brought it to them. So it's just be cautious of that. So we are going to start with Marlene today to talk about some dehydration, just because I think it might be something that's really interesting to you, because it's a little bit of food prep. And then I'm going to finish getting ready for our hands-on, and then we'll talk about the food safer and pickling. So I'm going to turn this over to Marlene.
So tell me when you want me to finish.
I'll give you the. And then I made some little handouts here today, and just a little bit about the name of the game is keeping the air out. Because when we're talking about food preservation and what we're doing, really air is our enemy when we're talking for storage. So you need to have air available, like if you're doing fermentation, we want to have that air in that circulation, and we're dehydrating. But when we're storing it, air is what we really want to make sure that we're being very cautious of. So that's why I put that air is, where our cautionary tale is. And I just gave, I think, 5-6 little tips on dehydration, which I know you will cover all of these.
Okay, so getting started with dehydration, I always recommend that you start small. People read about it or see about it, and they want the biggest and greatest and best. And when I was doing photography, you'd have all of these people who would go out and sink thousands of dollars in the latest and greatest and all of the lenses, and then because they didn't bother to learn the basics, they used them as point and clicks. They might as well use their phones. So this is one of the sort of entry-level dehydrators. It's good, you know, the small size, because if you don't want to do, you don't have enough to do, or you don't want to do the chopping for 10 trays of a big Excalibur, then these work really, really well. They're also really good because you can do a single portions, and you'd have one ingredient per tray. And when you're using it, there's two types of dehydrators. There's the ones that either go top to bottom, bottom to top, or you have where the fan is in the back. And so with all of them, you do have to rotate the trays. With the bottom up, this tray is going to dry off first, and then, so you'll rotate it every couple hours. When you're buying, or if you're in a yard sale, and that's a good place to get dehydrators, because people think, oh, this is a great idea. They try it once, they don't know what to do with the dehydrated food, and so then they put it in the cupboard, and eventually it makes its way into a yard sale. So you want to check that it has temperature control, timer, and an on and off switch. So that's the bare minimum that you want to have. In terms of accessories, okay, let's go back on the fan. The fan will either blow the heat up, blow it down, or it'll blow it this way. And so with the fan in the back, the trays that get done first are the top and the bottom. So this is where you do. You also want to get parchment paper, so that this will save you a lot of cleanup. And if you want to use it with stuff that's really small, or liquid, if you're doing fruit roll-ups, if you're doing tomato puree, and you want to do it that way, having either parchment paper or a silicone mat, these are really, really good. The silicone mats don't really work in the smaller ones. These are for the larger, but the smaller ones do come with these. And you can do fruit roll-ups on these, but you're going to have, it's going to be sticky getting it off. So just, you know, what you do with the parchment paper is you draw it out, do the hole, cut it out, and just go from there. And the drying temperatures are for fruits, it's 130 to 135. Vegetables, 140 to 145. Meats are 160. Herbs are 90.
I'm sorry, what was that last one you said?
Herbs,
Meat? Herbs.
herbs, yes.
Say meats are 160.
Meats are 165. I don't do meats because I'm vegetarian, but roughly some of the things that you need to be aware of is you want the ones with the low fat. Low fat.
Low fat.
So you're not going to be doing salmon. You know, and, you know, brown and that type of thing. I mean, you can do it, but be very, very careful with it because it will go rancid very quickly. I recommend, you know, if you're going to do the meat, that's something separate, and you really want to know what you're doing. There are recipes out there for it. Other things that are not really good to dehydrate with this type of a dehydrator are dairy, eggs, anything that has high fat. With those, if you want to do anything dairy, eggs, and high fat, then you want a freeze dryer. Yes?
When you're doing meats, is there a way that you can do it so that it doesn't get rancid?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes. You do meat, so you hop in.
No, what I did is I went to Restaurant Depot's a wholesaler, and I bought a big piece of top sirloin, low fat. And I cut some of it and I put it in the grinder for ground beef. I slice some of it for steaks, some for, and chop for, pot roast, some for beef stew, and then I thinly slice some, and there's some beef jerky,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very low fat. Very hardly no fat on a top sirloin. But you gotta do you gotta pay more for the better meat. But you save a lot of money if you buy a big piece of beef and slice it like you want to.
Okay.
And
Okay,
then,
yeah, because I've been making turkey, but I always have to put it in the freezer so it doesn't get rancid.
Yeah, no, mine I didn't have to do that, and then I say shrink wrap, but yeah, I pulled out my food saver and then put my beef jerky in there after it's, after I dehydrated it. And we went fishing and I pulled it out and was giving out bags of beef jerky. And all the fishermen, and they were tearing it up, I'm like, yeah.
so you seal it in a,
I seal it in with the food saver, yeah.
Oh, okay, then that just, it's mainly the air, keeping the air out, that's how it
Well, I
wouldn't go.
dehydrated it first,
Okay,
made
Yeah,
my
yeah,
beef jerky,
right,
and
make
but
it-
I stored it long-term, and when I packaged it with the food saver.
do you season it as?
Yeah, that's how
Like,
you
how
make
do you
beef
make it?
jerky.
Yeah.
I marinated it overnight and everything, and then I dried it off and put it in the dehydrator. I
Okay,
have a bigger dehydrator.
good to know, good to know.
Can, on that type of dehydrator, can you dehydrate fruit and vegetables at the same time? You just have to know, or do you have to do all
With
fruit?
any of them because of the difference in temperature.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was, can you do like fruits and vegetables and herbs at the same time? And it's not recommended because of the heat settings. And you will find online, there are, and also instructions that come with some of the units. You will see temperatures as low as 120, 118, 120 for vegetables. We are saying what has been research-based. So this is the recommendation from the people up in Davis who do all of our research. So, to have it up another 10 degrees and not get sick or have it go bad on you, it's worth doing. So, I don't know what research is done with the different dehydrators. And with the internet, as we've all found out, to our chagrin, just, somebody says it, somebody believes it, and then it gets spread all over.
Doesn't make it back.
So, in any doubt, and before I forget, Master Food Preservers does have an Ask a Master Food Preserver section on our website. And they get back to you within 48 hours. I've put
Is that
several
website
questions
on the,
for.
oh yeah, the website.
Yes, and then it's on, I have it also on the next handout as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed the herb, you missed the herb temperature.
With, sorry?
Herb temperature.
90 to 95.
Yeah.
Low, you want it really low. What happens if you put it really high, then what you're doing, you're gonna end up with powder. And it's gonna be a,
Okay.
so these are, this is chamomile and Italian parsley. So you can see that these are, very good in color and in texture.
Can you speak up?
This is garlic, you can still read.
We can't hear back because the unit you're on, so can you just.
Go louder. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so with this is garlic, and I was being lazy and I was also playing around. And I highly recommend you start with dehydration as an adventure. Because you are gonna make mistakes. And as I said, as long as you have a stick blender, you can rehydrate it and make it into soup.
Can I pass those around so people can see them up close?
Just please don't, yeah.
Don't
please make
open
sure-
them.
Yeah, but this is garlic, and this is what happens when things are over dehydrated. It's still good, it just isn't.
This one is chamomile and this is parsley.
You can see the difference. So, So, the next thing that's important is you can either do it, you have a choice, you can dehydrate by ingredient, or you can dehydrate by a recipe. A really good, website that I like, even though I would say they list dehydrating at 120. I do it at a higher level. It's, fresh off the grid. It's a backpacking website, and I have 2 of their recipes. This one is, a combined whole meal. This is.
What is that?
This is a whole meal in here. This is a meal for 4 people.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
You know, you can rehydrate it in, about half an hour, and add a tossed salad, and you've got it, you know.
What's in there?
Okay, what's in there, this is a, mushroom stroganoff. And I did put on the top that I'm playing around with icorn pasta. So this is a new pasta I haven't worked with, it's a new flour I'm not familiar with, so I wanna see how it's doing.
How long does all of this last?
If you store it properly, you can go 6 months or more. Yeah, again, a lot of it depends upon your storage. If you're going to store, I don't recommend, okay, those are in those little sort of things like that, baggies. Do not bother storing in that. Because they will you'll open your storage thing and you're gonna find you're hosting a lot of pasta.
When you hydrate it, how would you take that bag and make it your meal?
How would I take it? Okay, basically, all I have to do is, well, let me show you the other one. This one is a chickpea curry. I don't like Indian food. I do like this recipe for curry. And what you have with this is complete. And so with this one, you can essentially, this is the cream part, the sauce is a cashew cream. And you have in here I have the mushrooms, the pasta, and the cream here. I have the herbs that go in it, the seasoning, and the bouillon cubes. And so what you would do is you take the bouillon cubes, heat up your water, stick it in there, add it in, and when you're adding in, you start with a quarter cup, and then add more. With this, you know, I would start with half to a full cup
Of water.
of water, yes. You make your bouillon, your base, and then go with that. These are just separated because the garlic and onion powder come together, and I don't really, when I'm eating a meal, don't want to get a whole mouthful of
And
this.
how many people will that feed when it's rehydrated?
When it's rehydrated, if you have like a side dish, like a salad or something, it will feed 4. They say 2, but those, you know, they're backpackers, normal people. You know, if okay, you have somebody who is a backpacker or goes to the gym and works out for 4 hours, no, they're gonna eat a whole lot more, but normal people, it's easily 4. When we did the fair, we had, there were 6 of us.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had other dishes, but we had generous serving. So this is good. And you can also, if you want to add other vegetables to it, you can.
Now, are you going to give us the recipe for that?
Yes, do you have the recipes for these? I sent them to you.
I don't, but I will email it.
Okay.
I didn't get it printed, sorry.
But you did say.
But I'll get it up here for now.
We can get it off of the website
Yeah.
called,
Yes.
Fresh
Fresh
off
off
the
the
grid.
grid.
Okay.
But still, if you could email it to somebody in the
I'll-
garden club, we could
yes.
make handouts.
I can text it to you.
Okay, do it to me, yeah, I'm not
Okay,
savvy.
afterwards, if you see me.
We'll
Yeah,
we'll
I'll
talk.
get it to
We'll
you, as soon as I
talk.
get down the hill, I'll get it out. And then I'll also send over links for, dehydration and, like the temperatures, so they'll have that.
And Fresh Off the Grid has a lot of good tips about dehydrating.
Except for the temperature.
Uh-huh, except for the temperature. But the rest of their stuff is very, very good. This is also, if I want to store it, and these are in temporary storage, because like I said, it's a pasta I haven't used before, so I don't want it sitting around a whole lot. But, you can put it in these, you can use the vacuum seal, and it will hold it. What I do is I usually will put them together and have like an A and a B, and label what it is. This one is another recipe, and again, it has the combination of, with the curry, I like to add to the rice, and so to increase the protein, this is with black lentils and rice. And so you increased your protein quite a bit with doing this. And here you can see in the bag you have your liver, because you're going, with this one, you'll rehydrate the rice separately from the chickpeas and this. And so you have the seasoning, you have your tomato sauce. And if you're doing pureeing, not pureeing, dehydrating the puree sauce, I recommend do it in portions. If you know you're going to be using 4 tablespoons, then you just pop 4 little, you have one of your trays, and it would be 1 in each corner, and you spread them out very thinly. And so that when they pull off, it's like a paper.
Yes, show the instrument you use to spread it.
Yes. This is absolutely, when you get into dehydrating, get a tape, an offset spatula or a scoop knife. It will make your life so much easier, because that way you can get them nice and smooth. It's also good if you have, like you're rehydrating beans or anything. I use it to chop things up and to get it moved around. It's a lot easier to do it rather than trying to do it with a spoon or a regular spatula.
I have a question, when you're switching out your trays, do you also use that at that point too, when you trays around, or is it pretty much set in place?
Usually, I've got them, when you have them in, you want them spaced so that you can get a lot. If it's what I will do is look at if I've got a really chunky piece of pepper, then I may take that one out, cut it into smaller pieces so it will rehydrate more evenly.
So when you say spaced, you're meaning the food spaced from each other, but you don't need like empty trays? It's all, it can be full?
If I'm using the big one, and again, your dehydrating time is going to depend upon how many trays you're using. Okay, last night when I was doing the parsley, I just had 1 tray. And that dehydrated very, very quickly. You have the big dehydrator and you're using all 10 trays, you're going to be dehydrating for up to 12 to 14 hours. And so it's kind of set it and forget it, but not really. You do need to kind of get in there and move things around.
Is that zucchini down on the end? Because I'm having a
This
bunch of
is
zucchini now. Cucumber.
This is to show you sort of how much this is a cucumber that was out.
Oh, wow.
That's 1 cucumber. This is 2 kind of bell peppers like this.
What will you use that cucumber in?
It makes a really, there's a yogurt soup, that's a cold soup, and it has toasted walnuts and cucumber in it. And you can just get your yogurt.
Could you use it in tzatziki?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
You can use it, you can also,
Tomato chip powder.
You can make it into a powder, you can, anything you can use a cucumber for, you can use this
Can you
for.
put it in a smoothie?
You know, I would, if you're putting it in smoothies, then I recommend that you grind it
Grind it?
very finely, or you rehydrate it and put it in.
Well, the Vitamix chops up the bread.
Yeah, because if you just put it in a smoothie and you grind it up in with that, you may end up with little pieces of, oh, what's that? In your smoothie. So, just to tell you, you know, when you rehydrate something like a cucumber that has very, very high liquid, it's not gonna come out with the same texture. It will be different. That's why usually I recommend, you know, just, it's something that you would have it ground up in.
Have you ever done the same process with mango or mango, even the mango peel? Is mango peel edible?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm, yes, it is.
so have you ever dehydrated mango?
No.
No, okay.
Have you,
It takes a while.
Takes
Cassandra, have you done it?
What, mango?
Uh-huh.
I don't touch the fruit.
With
It's a
mangoes,
messy fruit.
because the density of the fruit is gonna make it take longer.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be one that's gonna be 24 hours, same like with orange slices or citrus slices. Your lime slices will probably be faster, but your orange slices definitely will be 18, 24, 36 hours, depending on how thick you've cut them.
Mango is like
It's very fibrous.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So this is 2.5 onions.
What was that? I'm
2.5 onions.
These are onions, they're 2.5. These are 2.5 onions. And what you can do is, okay, this is a,
Chia seeds and you said it was
this is quinoa, it's black quinoa. And this is if you want to make a tabbouleh. I also will grind this up a little bit more and mix it with avocado and use it on toast. You can also put this into a vegetable soup. So these are things that you keep separate. This is a long basmati rice, I believe. These are the same type of rice. The difference is this is just straight rice. This one I mixed with red lentils and bouillon.
How long will that keep in those jars?
These are, the ones that I keep in jars are ones that I use, so I usually go through them in 6 weeks. But they keep perfectly fine for that period of time. If I'm keeping them for longer, then I will do the vacuum seal.
You said those are vacuum sealed jars or
No.
no? Regular jars and
Yeah,
then.
just dry, yeah.
Just, okay.
You can do a vacuum seal with this. You want to demonstrate?
As soon as I open it, I will.
So if you vacuum seal your jars, you're not supposed to bend them, right? So if it goes bad, I'm sure it'll pop off if they go bad.
This vacuum sealer, she's gonna choose that.
Yeah, you do it with the can. But I thought with the can.
Vacuum seal process.
So how would you vacuum seal them?
I'm gonna,
She's gonna do
I'm
most
gonna,
of it.
with the vacuum sealer, since we're kind of talking a little bit about vacuum sealing, this is an additional, purchase that you make, that you have on that. So you can hook it on like this, and then it will create the vacuum.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and there's different units that you have, that are available. This is one unit that I have, but there's also, this one here that comes with the hose, that you can, hook this up to as soon as I get them done. But basically, the concept of it is that this lid will fit over this. You're gonna put this on here, you're gonna put your lid on here. It will fit snugly over, not the band though.
We'll pretend.
So you're gonna fit it over this like this, and then you're gonna take this, you're gonna get it snug on there, and then it's gonna create that vacuum seal. So right now it's sucking.
Or the lid.
And I can actually
The
smell
little-
the tomatoes.
Wow.
Okay, the lid's supposed to be on it. This is
So
supposed
it's
to be on
putting,
it.
pressurizing the lid
Yes, so
down,
it's, so.
sealing it off.
So,
Yeah,
The metal
it's
is-
sealing that
yes,
lid
it'll
on.
seal
That's
it
why
off.
you get a pop when you're opening lids.
so now this is
From
on
that.
there.
Okay, so it's
Yeah,
just
cause
saying
it's, that's how you got that pop
So it-
at
now-
a
so
store or
now you
anything
can-
else to seal it up. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So you'll just put your lid on, your regular lid, you're gonna get your little, this is an accessory, unless you get a deluxe unit, they may come with it. Your unit should come with some sort of hose, but I have my super duper little handy one, cause I brought this one too. This is also a
Charge.
separate purchase, where you can do bags or containers. So you just fit it on there, and then it has a vacuum and a marinade. And then it will automatically, remove the air out of here. You can do extra by putting, oxygen absorbers. Can you use those? So you can use oxygen absorbers too. And then it will stop, and you can, when you vacuum seal it, you can actually, when we're out and about, we can open that up, but you can actually smell the tomato, from in there. And then you'll have that there, and then you can just take your band.
When you're canning, you don't put the band on in case it
Canning,
pops. So, but with this, you can.
Yeah, but this is just dry storage. And then this has that perfect vacuum seal that's on there. Now, so depending on how you store this, you could store this up to a year, but you need to make sure that you have it in a cool, dark place. And you gotta take care of it, but, rotate them out, and especially depending on what you have in there, you may need to go rotate through those a little bit faster.
What do you mean marinate?
And you said marinate, yeah, what's the other
This is
setting?
if you wanna do meat marinade. So you can marinate your meat. This unit, you can, so it just like will infuse the marinade in your meat.
Faster
Yes.
than
Do you know how-
waiting and just
You know
sitting.
how you see those big vacuum seal things where they go there, like when you're watching Iron Chef or something like that, where they're vacuum sealing it to.
Like, how can they do that so fast?
Yes, that's how they do
There
it.
they-
They
oh.
marinate it.
Okay,
And so this will basically remove the oxygen, and when it removes the oxygen, it's gonna pull the marinade through the meat tissues.
how cool. That is an awesome unit.
You can marinate it in just hours. This unit here is under $30.
What is that called?
It's a food saver, it's a handheld. And you can order it off of Walmart, you can order it off of Amazon. Honestly, if you wait for, Black Friday coming up or whatever specials, you might be able to get it a little bit cheaper. This unit, I actually got this unit off of QVC, when they were having it, but they don't always have them, so it's not super reliable, just to let you know. But, it came with this here where it has a marinate mode, and then where you can just have a vacuum seal. So if you have a bunch of lunch meat, that you have it, it's best to put it in here, suck that air out of it, and it's gonna last in your refrigerator a lot longer than when you put it in that package that's there.
Okay.
That's the wow with it.
Did it come with like the wide mouth and the, or do you have to?
The unit that I looked up today, had a wide mouth and a regular mouth, yeah. I just brought my regular mouth because that's what I found in my stuff, because honestly, I don't do this, but I'm not a dehydrator. I'm working on it.
You want both of them.
Yes.
Because there are certain things where it's a lot easier to put this much in with the wide mouth
Yeah.
and try and put it
Yes,
in.
yeah.
So this is-
But you should be able, most of the times they should sell them in a set,
Okay.
But if you find one of these in the thrift store, then, you can get that size there. But that's how those ones work.
So, and with this one, you'll notice it's labeled and it's mixed, because that's a mix of tomatoes, and some of them are the dark purple and the black tomatoes. So I didn't want to come back 6 weeks to 6 months later and say, ooh, that's gone bad. And what you will notice is just, if you store it in just a regular bag, they're not gonna last that long. If you're looking for long terms, this type of storage is short term.
Very short.
You need to be using it up really pretty quickly. But with those, and especially, these are better, these maintain the seal better. Don't even bother with these. Because they will, when I go home, this will all go back into jars.
Now, would you put one of those full meals in a food saver?
Yeah.
You would, okay.
Yeah, you can put these in here. They're actually, Food Saver also, I'm sorry, I gotta itch my eye, it's been itching. I'll have to wash it. I won't touch anything, anything you're gonna eat. But, they actually sell bags like this that have a port. And then the port was when you would use the unit like this, or when you would use a unit like this. So it'll have a port here, and it will start sucking, it will actually remove the air on them.
Do they reseal?
Yes, those are reusable ones.
Okay.
So, what my recommendation would be, because those bags are, again, expensive, to have those bags, but you could also, these are just bags that you buy, resealable bags, and they're thicker, they're meant for freezer storage, but you could, reuse these. So start with a larger bag and then cut your way down. This I got from, our big box store friend, because you can get nice big ones there. And then this is just one big bag here, and then you can cut it to the size that you want. And it has like pre-portioned into little quart sizes, so don't pay attention to that, because you always want to make sure that you have a bigger bag than what you think. Because if you don't have a bag that's big enough, it's not going to create that seal. So you need to make sure that you have room in that.
And if you don't create the seal, you're gonna go back and you're gonna find it all over again.
So you could take these bags like this, and then create this here, and then you could vacuum seal them like this.
Oh.
Bag and all.
Bag and all. You
And
can do
what
bag
store-
and all.
what store did you
dump
go
it loose into the?
You could dump it loose in there if you wanted to dump it loose. She just had this pre-packaged, so she's got this separated because she's got her spices and everything separated. So you can keep it separate, or you can put it all, bag and all, if you're gonna dump it all if you want.
So if you bag and all, is it actually in a sense an extra insulator against freezer burn?
Yes, yes. And that's why, like, bags like this are not designed to go in your freezer.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a little bit thicker, but the sandwich bags definitely are gonna be very susceptible to freezer burn. And that's why
Judy, you have
You
a
said
question?
your favorite store, what store is it?
Costco.
Oh,
Costco.
Costco. Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Costco's hands. I mean, both of them actually sell these units, and they put them on sale frequently for like $30 off. So they make it very affordable. Sometimes, one of my units actually came with one of these. So you just gotta watch, especially with the holidays coming up, they get little bonus buys in. And those bonus buys have these little extra doodads in them.
This is I've never done this, real amateur question.
No such thing.
Is those tomatoes, do they get more intense in flavor? Because I have done herbs, and rosemary and oregano gets more intense in flavor. So is that tomato more intense, like sweeter and more tomatoey, because it's done that way?
Do you wanna taste one?
Yeah.
So you can tell us.
There you go, taste one.
Here, let me get some.
I have a question with the
I'll
question.
grab a
Does
glove
it-
for you.
Is it more concentrated? Is that maybe why the flavor?
Yes,
maybe gets more
yes, you're
intense?
taking it.
Yeah, because you removed all the water out of there. So all that moisture's out of there, so what's left is this super intensified item.
What's
So
that?
it's purple. It's purple.
Is that like a cherry tomato, is that because it's so little, or it started?
It's a tomato potato chip. It's so good.
Jackie, is it more intense?
Yes, and it's very sweet.
Yeah, anyone wanna try one, now's the time.
This is why I brought
here for.
So, that's just plain tomato?
This
is plain tomato cheese fruit.
Yeah. Just plain.
Yeah.
Not exactly food saver.
That's delicious.
But it does tie in, and dehydration is super easy, I mean, this little dehydrator, it was a splurge for me. I bought myself a little treat. I have larger ones, but the problem that I had is the larger ones, I found myself not using them because they were so large and they took up so much room on my counter. This one I got it at one sale for $43, and I set it right on top of my water cooler, and I have it going all the time now. So if I want something extra, I just plop it on, let it go for a few hours, my herbs are done before I even go to bed. And so it's super easy to keep that. So although it has disadvantages because it doesn't do as much at one time, it has a lot of advantages because when you have just a little bit left over, you're not gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna do that, and then by the time you get back to it, you've wasted it. So it really helps cut down on me having to throw out my cilantro because I didn't use all of it.
I didn't know you were.
I just, pressure cooked, like a whole couple pounds of tomatoes with, some zucchini, and I was creating a spaghetti sauce. So at the time, I just froze it. That's what I did last night. So my question is, what if I just did something like that with frozen product, and I'd like to just start dehydrating? Can I reconstitute it, dehydrate it, or is that just too much processing?
No, you can reconstitute, I mean, you can thaw it out and put it out there.
Okay.
With,
I did it last night.
with liquidy stuff, you'll definitely wanna have like a parchment or some kind of tray because it's gonna be liquid, and then you'll make it into like a powder.
Okay.
Is what you'll wind up doing, is because you'll get like a really thin, crispy layer, and it'll crunch, and then you kind of make it into a powder.
So it's not a waste of time.
No, not if you wanna have a dehydrated one, a non-freezer version.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a maximum thickness that you don't wanna go over? Because, say, I
Yes.
like chunky stuff.
Chunky stuff, if you're gonna rehydrate chunky stuff, you really want your slices, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on your slices, you wanna be, like on your, citrus about a 1/4 inch, no more than a 1/2 inch, because if you get it too thick, it's not gonna get dry all the way before mold starts setting in, because you're not gonna be able to get it dry enough. So yes, thickness does count. So even with your beef jerky, you wanna have it on the thinner side. So usually having them, slice it at their meat counter if you're able to do that, or have a slicer on that.
Stater's is good at that.
So but if you want it like chunky, have you dehydrated like diced tomatoes?
No.
Oh, you're dicing it.
Yeah, you might get away with a diced tomato. My suggestion with that one would be is make sure that you have it spread out really good on your tray, so there's a lot of airflow, so that you don't crowd it in. That's the other thing with dehydrating. Making room for that air to flow through will help get it dehydrated. And then you might have to toss it a little bit, just to kind of get them over on that. But you might be able to be very successful. What kind of chunk were you trying to do?
Well, I'm not trying to do it, I'm into metallurgy and heat treating metals and different things. And we go certain time by thickness and same temperatures, or we'll go up in stages.
Yes.
But, so my brain's gotta go back and forth here.
If you have uneven cuts in your trays, and if you cut it thicker, it is going to take longer.
Yeah, because the term we would use is we bring it to a certain temp in a solid solution, which means it's constant throughout.
So she's done diced tomatoes, so you can have a little chunky, if you want.
Right.
You can do that. Okay, what you can do and what I do is, because you're, especially if you grow the tomatoes, unless you're doing something like cherry tomatoes, where you have a fairly even thing, it's very hard to get them so that everything is the same. What I will do is check them, and those that are done, I'll take out.
Oh.
Yeah,
That I'll either
thin
take
your
it out,
tray down.
or I will cut
I
it
do
up
that.
so that it speaks it alone.
And I even had to thin my tray down when I used this dehydrator, because I didn't have uniform slices on my cucumber. Because I did some cucumber as well, because we're making some tzatziki dip, so. But it does make a difference, so that you just pull those ones off when they're ready, and then let the other ones continue to go, and then I would kind of condense it down into one tray.
Is there a way that you can tell that they're ready? I mean, baking a cake, you go and stick the
Yes.
toothpick and do this. How do you?
Okay, the way you do it, you can either do it by weight, and you want 80 to 90% of, vegetables, I think, are 80%.
80.
85, fruits are 90. So you would weigh it first, and then when it gets down to 2%, okay, weigh it first.
So I would just put the scale, put the
I would-
tray on the scale.
yeah, you can
before,
weigh it.
and
I
then put the tray on the
I
tray,
also
put the tray
just
back
break
on.
it apart.
You can break it,
on the
tell it by
inside,
tackiness.
then it can go
Okay.
back in.
So you weigh the food, and then when it's 90% lighter, it's done. If you're looking at a.
You're ready to start conditioning it.
Yes, yes, and what you do with conditioning, do you have the lid for this?
So conditioning is an important step in dehydration.
So what you do, okay, If in the summer, if you say you're doing herbs, and again, it depends where you are dehydrating. If we're doing herbs outside, and we're air drying, okay, those definitely, you're going to wash them first. You're going to wash everything with a solution of, you can either use bleach or hydrogen peroxide. So, or you want to clean the produce really, really well. With the herbs, you do want to inspect them and get the bad parts off. And then after you dehydrate them, I do it especially in the summer, I will, once they're dehydrated, I will put them in a container and put them in the freezer for 48 hours or more, it's usually more. And that's to kill off just, you don't, especially if you're doing it, say, in the garage, or you don't know who's coming to visit, and, leaving you a party gift. So it helps to keep it, once it's frozen, then you're going to condition it. So you would not pack it this tightly. It would go about this tight, and you have it there, and for at least a week, I do it twice a day. I will go in and I'll rotate it around, and what that does is it equalizes the liquid.
Moisture. Where the moisture is left.
Moisture, yeah. And then you can see here, I have a little silicone oxygen absorber. So.
Would you do things like zucchini and okra and that kind of stuff?
Yes.
For your soups and
Yeah,
things?
yeah, and then if you wanted to powder them to make it as a thickener, come wintertime when you're doing soups, you can powder them and then use them for thickeners.
You can also, if you like making hummus, you can dehydrate the beans and have the seasoning. You're not going to put in the oil or the tahini, the liquids you would have separate, but you can do that, and then you just pop it in your blender, and life is good.
And you have
Oh, when you were talking about weighing, conditioning, washing, all these things are done in